Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for joining. We're going to give everyone about 2 more minutes, see who else pops on, and we'll get started.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Good morning. I can't hear you, Kyle, if you're talking yet. It says you're still connecting to audio. Okay, we're going to give just 1 more minute and we're going to get started so we can respect everybody's time this morning.
I brought my potential coworker, but just a lazy one. So
Man, she is living life right.
yeah, lazy one, that one. The other one's in the kennel, so she likes the kennel.
Looks so cozy there.
Yeah, it's a rough life they live.
It looks like it. I'm a little bit jealous.
Lazy bones. Also that.
Somebody there?
My son came home.
Okay. Okay, well, we will go ahead and get started. And if people join, I'll just let them hop in. Here's one more here. So thank you for joining. My name is Kelly Rosequist. I am the CEO of Dog Training Elite. So you understand what we're going to do today, I'm going to go over a business model overview. I'll have some slides I'll be sharing, talking about our business, what we do, what makes us unique. And then I will open it up to questions at the end. So if you have questions along the way and you don't want to forget them, feel free to throw those in the chat there at the bottom of your screen, and we'll make sure to address those at the end as well. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, can everybody see my slides? Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, one moment. I don't know how to see my full video again. Kyle, are you able to add people in if they're joining still, or do I need to monitor that?
Yeah, I can add them in. I'm actually logged in as you, it looks like. So I was going to
Okay.
log out and re-log in as myself, but since I'm logged in as you, I can let people in.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Okay, so again, I'm Kelly with Dog Training Elite. Thank you for joining us this morning. And without further ado, we will hop into our business model overview. Pictured here is Aiden Rosequist in Arrow. Arrow is our service dog advocate, and he spends a lot of work educating people in our community about service dogs and the work they do. And it's a really important, has a really important role in our business. So who are we? We are America's fastest growing dog training franchise with over 40 years of theory development and dog training expertise. So we've been doing this for a really long time. We do offer a personalized in-home training experience. We come to our clients, we meet them where they are, and we work with their dogs in the places that they're struggling most or have the most behavioral issues, which is generally at home. We do offer customized solutions. We do not believe that one size fits all. And so we work with every dog as if they're an individual, because they are, and tailor those trainings to that. We do pride ourselves in having outstanding customer service. We are a people-forward dog training business. And that means that from that very first call to their very last session, everything we do is modeled around the client's experience. We have found that if we are educating the client and communicating well with them and creating an experience that they enjoy, that the dog's training is more sustainable. They're more likely to continue it, to stay engaged, and the dog will in turn do a much better job and have more freedom for the rest of their lives. And we work with dogs of all breeds, ages, and abilities. We do not discriminate against any dog based on age or type or size. So it's in the name, but what makes us elite? One of the biggest differentiators, other than the fact that we're people forward, and I talked about that, is that we offer multiple distinct dog training services. This has enabled us to be successful in markets that are even quite saturated. Denver is a really great example, an incredibly saturated market, and our owners are doing incredible there. And it is because of this. So we certainly offer obedience training. That is the bread and butter of what we do. That's where everything starts. But we also offer puppy services. We want to make sure we're getting those dogs started early, setting great boundaries, socialization, and really teaching dogs to learn. We offer personal protection training in some of our markets. That is an optional service you can offer. We offer service dog training, and even within that training type, there are multiple modalities. We offer psychiatric support, PTSD support, mobility support, autism support, diabetic alert, and seizure response. So within the service dogs alone, there's 6 additional specialties you can have there. We do therapy animal training for the dogs that want to go out and volunteer in the communities with their handler. We do work with dogs that suffer from anxiety and aggression and help to control that and give the owners some more control and give the dogs more freedom. We offer small group classes in the community. We hold these at small parks. So they're really community integrated, and that's a really important aspect of what and how we do that. And we do specialize in service dogs for our military and retired veterans as well. A little bit about our history. I mentioned we've been doing this a really long time, and it all started back in 1976 with John Messis, or as we call him, the dog father. John really got his start with hunting dogs and competitive obedience. So he traveled the country and even the world. He competed in a lot of other countries as well with his dogs, with really high level competition animals. He opened a kennel facility and started specializing in this hunting and competitive type training. And over time found, people wanted their pets to be awesome too. It didn't have to be this high caliber sort of professional sport level dog, that all dogs could be amazing and they could have the same freedoms. So that's when we started training for the general public and really became Dog Training Elite. We sold the kennel and decided to focus on an in-home approach, because not only was it better for our clients, but it was a lot better for the dogs and way more effective as well. We started franchising in 2014 with our first location in Phoenix, Arizona. That is Neil Mestis' location, John's son. And we spent the next 5 years making sure that everything we were doing here could be replicated in another market and would be successful in another market. That was sort of our benchmark. We opened one additional location after that, did the same thing. Before we decided to really open this up to national expansion, we wanted to make sure that we had done everything we can to make sure that this model didn't just work in Utah, didn't just work in Arizona, and didn't just work in Texas. So we had a really slow start to make sure that it was viable everywhere. And once we had all of those benchmarks in place, we opened up to national expansion in 2019. And we are currently, the slide's a little outdated. We've had some new owners joining recently. So we're currently at 63 territories and growing across the country in lots of different types of markets, which has been really incredible to watch. So why Dog Training Elite? We do offer a semi-absentee opportunity, which can be attractive to some people. We have some owners who, they hire their trainers or they're hiring their administrators. So we definitely have that option available. One thing I always am very clear about up front is the passion is still important with our business. You don't have to be working in it every day. You don't have to be the person training dogs, but you have to care about your dogs and you have to care about your community, because that is integral to our culture and our brand and the messaging that we provide in our communities. There are high revenues and net profits among all of our locations. We are home-based, so you do have the ability to scale more easily and have lower startup when you're first getting going, startup costs. Because our packages cost a bit more, we need less clients to be profitable. So you can, have a smaller client base and still make as much money without needing to have hundreds of new clients a month to make a profit. There is an increasing demand in dog training services, not only in the general public as more people are getting dogs, but dogs are becoming more like family. They're becoming children. People are investing in their dogs' educations. And we're seeing a lot more need for service animals. I don't know if it's actually that the need is growing or just the awareness is growing of all of the incredible work service animals can do, but this demand is soaring. Our business model is very scalable. It's really easy to grow, add additional units without increasing your overhead tremendously. And community involvement is a really important aspect for us. So we all are really integrated into our communities, every single location. No matter how big we get, we want you to be a local business. So it's really important that you do that. And we all give back quite a bit working with our nonprofit, as well with other shelters, rescues, and other opportunities in every community we're in. The investment breakdown, I'm sure a lot of you have already seen these numbers. So we do have a lower initial investment, and that is because we're home-based. And that is because there's not a lot of equipment attached to our business. So as you work through, you'll find out exactly what that entails, but usually it's some pretty minor training tools, a vehicle, and your dog. That's what most of us are using day to day. A lot of your initial investment is going to be in marketing when we're first turning on the business, when we're first getting out marketing in our communities. But the actual product overhead is quite low with us. We are SBA approved, and we do offer a discount for veterans through the Vet Fran program. So what does a day in the life look like for us? It's quite different if you're owner operator or semi-absentee. Our owner operators are conducting the training sessions, scheduling appointments, hiring and training employees. The majority of our owners to date are owner operators, or one of the owners at least is an owner operator. We've actually had a lot of owners come on that wasn't their intention, and they've fallen in love with the process. They've fallen in love with the actual act of working with the dogs every day, and a lot of them actually have transitioned into that role, which has been kind of fun to watch. And then we have our semi-absentee option. We do currently have 3 semi-absentee owners, and they're overseeing the business. They're focused on growth, they're focused on scaling, and they have an amazing team working under them. They have both administrators and trainers working under them. Support. One of the things that we pride ourselves in is offering exceptional support to our owners. I would say that is the most important thing that we can do for our owners, is providing exceptional support. So we offer ongoing phone and technical support. We have a lot of advanced trainings. A lot of our owners, start off offering a more limited number of dog training packages when they first open, and they come back and attend our Dog Training Elite University, take additional courses. And so there's always ways to add to your revenue stream and to add to really your skill set by attending those advanced trainings. We do regular territory visits. We have annual conventions where we all get together and we're learning new dog techniques, we're learning new business techniques, and networking with one another and leaning on the support of all of our amazing owners and their great ideas. And we do provide grand opening support where we come out and help you with your launch. Our corporate team will come out and assist with your launch, and then ongoing marketing support as well. Our education process is very similar to a lot of other franchise concepts. We start where we are today with our business model overview. You'll work through some of the different specifics of our business through your initial call, economics. You'll get that FDD review where you get the time to digest that huge legal document that every franchise system has to have. We encourage you to do some market research after that, so we can help contribute to that later on. And then you get the private president's call. That call is with me, and that is when you get to ask me any leftover questions that you have that haven't been answered through the process so far, and really get to know our brand a little bit better from my personal perspective. Next, we open up to peer review, which I think is one of the most important steps and one of my favorite steps in this process. And that is when you get the opportunity to have conversations with our current owners. You can ask them any of those questions that you want to ask, things that I may not be able to answer, or things that, you might just want a real honest answer. What was your launch like? How many clients a week are you getting? You're allowed to ask those questions. And I know I'm a bit biased, but we have the best owners in the world, and they are all incredibly helpful, very transparent, and will be happy to answer those questions for you. Next comes approval day. That's a really fun process. So once you've made it through those steps, we invite you out here to Salt Lake City. That's where we're based. And you get to spend 2 days experiencing Dog Training Elite. So you'll get to go on training appointments, service dog appointments, group classes. You'll get to meet some of our clients, learn what the actual process is like for them. So you actually know what your dog will look like, what your career will look like every day, and the impact you get to make in your communities. And past that, if both parties are approved on that day, the franchise is awarded. There's a few questions I always get asked, so I'm going to answer a couple of those. One, I always get asked if we have to handle, how do we handle liability with trainers going into the homes of aggressive dogs? We have a lot of stopgaps in place. There's certainly insurances that we carry, general liability, workers' comp, and our insurance carrier is actually dog specific. So it's they're accustomed to these sort of claims if they were to happen. Although I knock on wood, we don't have this happen because we have a lot of things in place. We have a tremendous screening that happens on the phone before we go out to these appointments. We have safety procedures put in place that are communicated to the client before we ever arrive at the home. And all of our trainers are trained in how to approach and work with aggressive dogs. So we have a lot of protections put in place for that. I always get questions about the e-collar, which is a really fair question and one of my favorite things to talk about. I talked about earlier the education of owners being a really important aspect of what we do, and e-collars are no exception. So e-collars are a tremendous tool when used correctly. The collars we use are made by a brand called Dogtra, if you want to research that at all, D-O-G-T-R-A. And they use, excuse me, they use the same technology as like a chiropractor, where they provide like a different sort of stimulation, right? It's muscle level, it's not a hot shock, it's not what people traditionally apply to a shock collar. There's no hot electric shock, there's no electrical current going through, it's just muscle level. And we use it in a way to communicate on the lowest setting the dog can feel. So when we're communicating, we're given a tap on the shoulder, in this case, it's their neck. Okay, we're talking to you, let's focus up here. Because communication is where training usually breaks down. So this is a really great communication tool that works on and off leash because they have up to a 3/4 mile range. So it's a pretty tremendous tool. So a big part of what we do is teaching people about the tool, how to use it effectively, and the freedom it can provide their dog. So as we work through this process, always feel free to ask questions about it to myself, to any of our owners. Once people really understand the tool, they love to talk about it and explain it to people. So you won't offend anyone with questions about that as we move through if you have more. And how do franchise owners acquire new customers? We have two main ways that well, I guess three main ways we acquire new customers. One is digital marketing. We have an amazing digital marketing team that you will get the opportunity to meet at approval day. They'll provide market analytics for you. And they are the ones who are generating SEO and Google and social media ads. Most of our owners, I will probably tell you, they get more leads than they can handle sometimes just coming through those sources. And they're really qualified leads, especially in Google, because they're people who are searching for a dog trainer. They know what they're looking for. So especially in our niche products like service animals, protection, people are searching for these terms and they will find us. The second way is community marketing. This is a really important aspect of what we do. One, it's a huge lead generator. Two, it is part of that community integration that I talked about that is so important to our brand. We want to get out, we want to meet people, talk to them, smile at them, let them meet our dogs. And so for all of us who are really accustomed to doing that, COVID was rough on that aspect just because we missed getting out into our community. But these events, not only, like I said, are great lead generators, but they're great community connectors as well. We just recently went down to Dallas-Fort Worth for their launch last month, and they did a home show, and in 3 days, they acquired 113 leads. And those are strong leads. So people that have met you, they've seen your dogs, they've chatted with you. So those events are really good lead generators and very strong leads at that. And then the third way we acquire new customers is word of mouth. we have a really strong word of mouth business because people are usually ecstatic when they're done. And so they're telling their friends, their neighbors, their family. So we have lots of extended families and whole neighborhoods that we've trained with that are really, really cool. So word of mouth is definitely big in our industry. Okay, so I am going to stop my screen share so I can see everybody. And I am going to open up to questions. So if anyone has any, feel free to start firing those away at me.
Hey, Kelly, Addison here.
Hi.
Hi, I've been on a few calls. I'm just sort of lurking and learning here. Just curious, do you know what the conversion rate is on those leads you get from trade shows, like an average?
Yes. So the average across the franchise system is about 60% of those will book a demo, book an evaluation, and then 50, it depends on the closer, but 50 to 70% of those purchase. So those are probably one of our highest converting type of leads because they've already seen you. In essence, you've already really done a demo. So a lot of people even skip that process at that point and are just ready to sign up.
Gotcha. And then I did have a follow-up question. I was curious about your thoughts on how Phoenix did 1.4 million. I mean, compared to all the other franchises, that's like incredible numbers. So I was just curious what you think really contributed to his success down there.
Yes, two things. The first one is shows. So Neil does a lot of events. He does 5 home shows a year, and he does multiple like smaller community events as well. So his lead volume is a lot higher. The other thing is he had a larger team. So where everyone else was kind of ramping up, he had a kind of a head start. So he has, I think currently has 9 trainers. And so he was able to get more people out training quicker. I'm really excited to see what happens this year. We started our $1 million inductee club last year, and he got his blue velvet $1 million coat. You know, it was a really fun thing. And I know there are lots of owners gunning for him this year, and I'm thinking some of them are going to get him. So it'll be really fun to see. So yeah, realistically, it was the number of events he was still having, and particularly during COVID. I mean, everyone else's events stopped and Arizona's did not. They were still doing it. So.
And he has a physical location as well, too, correct?
He does, yeah.
Okay.
But that opened about, it was more than halfway through last year. So he didn't have it the full year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious, do you know how much, and I don't know if legally you can say, but the breakdown between like how much came from that physical location?
Very little for last year. Because it was still in renovation most of the year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this year you should definitely ask those numbers. I know Utah, we have a facility here. I own a local franchise here as well. And our facility is a great revenue generator, and that it completely pays for itself, you know, with the dogs we're boarding, or not boarding, day camp training, we don't board, and, you know, doing that here. But our in-home still far surpasses that.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Of course. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, that was an easy one, guys. That was not many questions. All right. So at this point, I encourage you all to keep working through the process. We have an absolutely amazing team. I know a lot of you probably got the opportunity to talk to Kyle. If you haven't, you will soon. So he's going to be able to answer a lot of your questions, but I look forward to you all working through the process and making it up to that president's call so I can get to know you all better. All right, guys, Got anything to add, Kyle?
No, looking forward. I see a lot of familiar names and faces, so I think I'm working with everybody on the call. So,
Oh, awesome.
But,
Fantastic.
appreciate it, Kelly, and you guys know where to find me. Looking forward to speaking with you.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful week, everybody.
Thanks, you too. Appreciate it, Kelly.
All right, bye.
Bye.